All right. How's it going, y'all? We got another session review to cover, and today we are going to recap August 21st, 2025. And really my goal out of this is to show you what real live scalping looks like, show you that you don't have to be perfect to pull money out of this market, and you definitely don't need fancy indicators, a magic setup, or 300-point trades to be successful in this game. All you really need is your brain, your eyes, and some damn hard work. But we're just going to jump right into it. This is a little bit of a longer one. It's a 35-minute session, so I'm just going to jump to the areas of interest, but we'll get into it. All right, so we are coming up on the first trade here. As you can see, we dumped lower, came back, swept the original opening high. Now we're having a little bit of a pullback. A lot of what I believe in the market is essentially auction market theory. So I believe that prices will return to the previous auction. That's what I'm seeing here. So we had a previous auction in this area. We're returning to it. So that's where I may feel comfortable to take a buy. I typically don't want to predict those lows, but right here I did have the confidence. And you'll see here in a second. Here's the first trade. Now, ATM is pretty tight. It is moving a lot today. We'll go ahead and pause that right there. But that was pretty tight. That was pretty close, a little too close for my liking. So I do end up increasing the ATR or the ATM, sorry. But really, what I saw out of this is obviously it was turning around. So in this candle here, we started slowing down. We got that big wick, and that shows me that there's some buying there. Again, we're trying to relate to the market in the matter of an auction. So buyers are starting to step in here. Then we get kind of a doji candle. Buyers are still present. And then right here, this is the candle that I entered on. I see we kind of fail to push any lower. In my mind, what I'm thinking in that split second is we're probably going to have a quick pop up because we tried to come down to this low again, we're failing, and we've got a lot of space to go and retest. And I would imagine we would be coming for that high. So that was our first trade of the day, but we will jump to the next one. All right, so coming up on our next trade. Now, when I do these, I want to show you guys the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to show you guys that you don't have to be freaking perfect to pull money out of this market. So I do make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. You have to learn how to accept those and continue about your trading day when those mistakes do arise. But right here, I was expecting a bounce. I really should not be pushing, predicting the low, especially when we're in these tighter downtrends. But you see there, just an absolute chase of an entry. I do try to end up getting it to break even. Doesn't end up happening. It does end up grabbing me, but I'm 50-50 for the day. And because I decided to trade in the way that I do, I'm still in profit. So it doesn't really matter that I just took that loss. And that's the mindset that you have to have throughout your trading day, especially in this high intensity scalping. These really quick moves, you just got to move on to the next one. You can't hold anything from the past. Whether it was a really good trade and you think you're invincible, that'll mess you up, or you absolutely lose your confidence and feel like you got to get that money back. That's going to mess you up even more. So I take this trade, I take this L, and instead of trying to get right back in, try to recover that loss, get right back to where I was profit wise, I just kind of slow down and I wait for that next opportunity. But we're going to jump to the next area of interest. All right, so we are in a totally different leg of price action. I still just have those two trades on the day. I'm 1 for 2 right now. This was after 8:45 high impact news, so volume picked up even more than what it was. But right now, we just had a big extension, and we are returning back to this previous auction. I'm going to call it, you can call it a range, whatever you want, but a previous area where buyers and sellers were in a battle for control. And obviously the sellers took control. So we return back to this area. What I want to look for at first is a continuation. I want to continue going into the buy side. I want to expect it to test this again. So what I'm looking for is a pullback to continue a little higher. Um, but you'll see this trade, which is trade number 3, play out here shortly. And this is on 2x speed. But you can see us kind of failing there. And there's my entry. So I didn't really have time to push that one. I probably should have pushed take profit up to here. That's all right. We're 2 for 3 now for the day, and we will jump to the next one. All right, I didn't realize how quickly I was back in the market, but here's another trade right here. So this is a great example that I can learn from, you guys can learn from as well. So we were talking about this auction from before, right? So we're at this previous auction, we get a nice push into it, and we just kind of stop and halt. For some reason, I was looking for a continuation below the previous candle low. It was definitely an impulse trade. But when I see this, when I'm nearing towards a high, I don't want to be trying to scalp into that. I want to be waiting for a pullback and waiting for that momentum to build like we did here. So this is a bad trade for sure, but we can just learn from that. For some reason, it didn't trigger my limit right away, but it does end up getting grabbed. And then I do take another one right here. I was definitely starting to get a little antsy, just kind of hopping in trades. I was really marrying this bias that we were going to continue up and over this, and it typically never works out. Best course of action, especially after a loss, took the break even there, but after a loss, is just to stop, take a breath, wait for that next setup. I personally allow myself to trade from 8:30 to 9:30. So we're just over 20 minutes into the day at this point. I don't need to be forcing these trades whatsoever. So after I took that break even, I definitely caught myself. I don't like taking those quick back-to-back trades, especially when one of them's a loss or both of them are losses. So I just kind of slow down and wait for that next one. But we're in kind of a grinding downtrend right now. So really all that I'm looking for is maybe a continuation short from up above or price to pull back, and then I will look for a buy as well. But our next trade is coming up here. I remember this. So we start forming a range. And again, I'm going to talk a lot about the auction market theory. So in the simplest terms, what is happening right now is we've got this level and we've got this level right here. Some people may say it's support and resistance, etc. But really what it is there's a large amount of buyers that think that price is at a essentially discount here and it's a good place to buy. And there are a good amount of sellers here that want to see prices go lower. So you can see it starts reacting at that same area. So we had that pop here, we had the pop here, and I hopped in this trade right here because there was a lot of momentum coming in. The sellers tried to push price lower, but the buyers instantly ate it up. This area, they must have thought it was a good price, so there was a lot of volume coming in. But I was targeting towards the top of this range. We'll see that here in a second. Now price breaks up. I'm looking for that 20 points, which I really don't need to be doing. I'm only using like a 7.5 point stop loss. I'm already a little over 2R in scalping. You don't need to be pushing that. I don't really care about an RR, but right here I should just be taking that win. If you guys like Tom Hugard, I don't know, you can always push for that larger profit amount, but when you're scalping, consistently scalping, you typically just want to be in and out. You don't want to be marrying those biases of target. So when your money's on the table, just take it and run and look for that next trade. But we will jump on to the next one. All right, so we jump forward a little bit. we're getting close to 9 o'clock high impact news. I typically don't like to enter in and around those areas, just because volume starts picking up. It can get a little wacky. But you do see I do take a short here, which honestly I don't hate. I had strong conviction that we were going to dig a little deeper in this range, but I should not be entering towards the bottom of this because for all I know, buying could pick up right here and shoot right back up. This one does take me out at break even. It would have worked out, but I'm more than happy just taking a quick break even on that, being able to show up here with you guys, watch this, and learn from that, and just learn to slow down, especially in those areas. You don't want to be consistently executing towards the bottom of a range or top of a range or an auction, essentially. So we will jump on to the next trade. All right, so we are at our next point of interest. So after that 9 o'clock news, buyers stepped in. We did have a large pump up, but right now we're just kind of grinding up. And right here, what I saw is we're almost creating like a trend line, right? It's an obvious thing for people to see, for scalpers to see. But what I wanted to see is we got rejected here. So sellers tried to step in, but instead of continuing, we started slowing down right here. And we stopped at that previous area where the buyers essentially engulfed the sellers and stopped them from pushing price lower. So I was expecting the buyers to step in again to push the high, which you'll see here in a second. But there's just a real quick TP. So for this session, I think I went 4 for 6, something like that. Yeah, 4 for 6, 2 break evens. And really what I hope that you guys can get out of this is you don't have to be perfect to make money in this market, especially in scalping. You don't need a perfect setup. You don't need a magic indicator. You don't need to pay somebody $5,000 to give you the special setup that is just going to have a 90% win rate and is 1 to 5 every RR, whatever BS every time. All you guys need to do is learn price action, learn how it moves, follow a plan, and then go from there and just build upon those skills. This was a 25-point day. You don't need 100 points. You don't need 150 points. 25 points on one contract is a quick $500. That only took me 35 minutes today. Now, you can multiply that obviously as you increase size, but I'm just trying to tell you guys that you don't need these huge days, these huge setups. If you can just learn to take these small scalps on a smaller time frame, especially like the 15-second, it can change a lot of things for you. It can really allow you to find your perfect setup every day that you like. Now, a lot of people have mechanical setups, all this stuff. The reason why I love this is it's all discretion and it's almost like a video game, truly. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you can learn a little bit of something. But just remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just got to follow a plan, get better every day, and really find your edge, which your edge can just be your brain. You don't need anything super complicated. But hope you guys recorded all your sessions this week. Hope you guys are learning, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.